Maayong gabi! For today's episode, sa atong SunStar Pitik, nata karon natay visitor karon from Manila. So mag-Tagalog na lang tayo. From Manila pero she's from Cebu also, in Mactan. So let's travel photography with the one and only Arlene Donaire.
Hello everyone. Sa Bisaya pa may gabi. Magandang gabi sa lahat po. I'm happy to be here. Thanks JC for inviting me. So
Karon sa travel photography, who is Ate Arlene sa travel? Saan ka nagsimula? Paano?
how I started out. Okay.
In photography.
Well, I really started being interested in photography nung 2009 pa. I began with festival photography.
Okay.
So, taga Cebu man. So, sinulog dayon. 70-200 lens dayon.
Oh.
shooting with portraits, the dancing formation. So I got addicted to festival photography actually.
From the 2009, merong inspiration na nakapasok ka ng photography or nasa nasa dugo?
Walay dugo, kuan lang. I got motivated to start something new.
Okay.
Because for many years, profession-wise, I had always worked in the realm of economics.
Okay.
And that's hardcore stuff. So you realize na you need to do something else. So I just woke up one day and decided that I would recover my creative inclinations. So I started with photography.
So parang na siya, it's like it's pang unwind or stress reliever.
Combination because the work also required me to do some photography for documentation, but it's not so much fun when you have to do it for work, right?
Yeah.
So travel photography, mainly festival photography at that time, afforded me the chance to go out and not have to think about work, and then at the same time explore my artistic talents.
So from festival na adto siya sa travel photography. So yung transition niya.
The transition.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, festival photography is inherently part of travel photography, di ba? Because a lot of people travel to see the festivals, and when you're inclined towards photography, that gets included in your itinerary. You watch, you shoot. So eventually, I realized nga there are many other things to shoot when you're in a location, in a new location especially. So I began exploring the other genres. So I got into landscape, street, portraiture, conceptual, and many other things. Kasi when you're doing travel photography, it's really like opening yourself to an entire world of subjects. Daghang subjects. Bisag unsa, in fact, you can shoot anything that interests you when you're in a location. So, travel photography, more seriously, naging genre ko na siya starting in 2015 after I traveled to Sri Lanka. So
bali ang travel photography is like nag-document sad ka sa like place. For example, first time nimo sa place, mao ba ni ang gitawag sa cultural side kanang sa pamaman dili ba na siya sa matawag sa puro ra ba siya sa tourism side or appeal po lang luyo sa tourism?
It's everything.
Everything.
It's anything that defines the place can be all attributed to travel photography. So it's documentary in the sense na you shoot what is there. You don't try to manipulate. And if you do, because it's also all right to do conceptual photography on location, but the concept is also always based on the culture, the heritage. Like if you have a model shoot, it's based, for example, on the religion in a location. So you try to shoot the monks, but it has basis in terms of the religion. So, kuan siya, you cover everything, what's in front of you, and what's behind. Okay, see, the genre has a really wide array of subjects, man God. I call them the 5 P's: places, portrait, people, practices, progress, and potpourri. So, people, who do you meet? Who are the people in this locality? Places, the sense of place. What is the place all about? And then progress, is the place forward or backward? Is it urban? Is it rural? And then the practices. So, ana mo sulod ang mga culture, the beliefs, the religion. And then potpourri is anything that gives you a special sense of the place. Like, if you go to Japan in spring, the potpourri there is the spring festival, the spring blossoms. So, maraginana ba? So, travel photography covers all these, this array of subjects. And yeah, at the same time, because it involves different subjects, it also implies that you have to know how to shoot according to the technique required for each type of subject. So, that's why I like it, kasi it's very challenging. You don't stick with one subject and you don't stick with one technique.
Bali, mag-research mo. Research before mag-kuan.
Yeah.
Sa mga, kung mo ka sa laing place, is there problem in security? Na mga, need, syempre,
The preparation.
Preparation,
Yeah.
Unsa may kuan ninyo,
There are,
expense, asa mo,
it's expensive. For sure, it's expensive. Because you have to travel
your own.
far.
Your
I photography for me kasi is a hobby.
Okay.
It's a passion, in fact. It has become elevated to the level of passion kasi I try to do it as much as I can and when I can afford it. So I travel at my own expense.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm sponsored in terms of my gear or things that I use, but it's mostly self-funded.
Okay.
And for what reason? Wala lang, because I derive enjoyment out of it, diba? Because, after all, you work hard and then you play hard also. So, kuan siya, when I go on these travels, there are 2 ways to do it. You plan you plan the travel yourself, or you join a photo tour led by a credible and somebody who's already very familiar with the place. So that reduces the amount of studying that you have to do when it's led by someone practitioner sa travel photography na. And majority of the time, I go with travel tours na led by experts.
Kanang travel tour, ang imong kauban ana mga photographer pod. Photo tour, is that camera clubs na inyong maila-ila didto sa place sa laing country?
Kuan siya kanang sagol. Asahay, I travel with my camera club. We have these events called out of town shoots. The out of town, the one that you join us.
By the way, you're in Zone 5 Camera Club
and Pinoy Photography Organization. 2 clubs based in Manila. So, member ko ana nga 2 clubs, and what's common between these 2 clubs is naay ka ng out-of-town shoots. We call them OTS. So, it's either out-of-town shoot nga local, Philippines, or abroad. So, so for my photo tours, I join the club-based tours, or I go on my own and travel with a tour leader nga sometimes it's a Filipino based abroad or a foreigner nga ga-promote sa iyang tour somewhere in Vietnam, so I go with that. There is also another kind of tour nga, tour director ko
Mm.
or assistant tour leader ko because I'm being asked by a friend to co-lead a tour. So nasa ingon ana nga kind, but in most cases I really don't travel alone.
Okay.
It's always with a
Mao
group.
na for safety po.
Yeah, I don't have qualms about traveling,
Okay.
pero kaning sa photography man god, it's really just more economical and it's also more fun when
Okay.
you're traveling with the same group nga pareho mong interest ba.
Okay.
And it saves you money because you can hire one sakyanan or you pay a model or you have a leader that guides you into where you can eat. So it's the group tours are I would say more effective compared to solo travels. But I do solo travels also, but it's mainly for kani bitaw maghinuktok lang ka.
Mm.
Can you travel because you just want to be by yourself, think about things, you want to have coffee, and then you want to shoot without pressure. So I do it sometimes also, but only in very safe places.
By the way, you won the photographer of the year 2023 for sa zone
5.
zone 5 and for 2024 sa
Pinoy Photography
okay
Organization.
na.
Oh.
Sa mga ingana ba, how do you kuan?
How do you win?
Yeah. So, unsa may mga criteria ana nganong nakadaog ka ana
Sige.
sa mga photos ana.
So for those familiar with camera clubs,
Okay.
there's a monthly photo contest.
Okay.
So at the end of the year, when the club reckons kung sino yung mga outstanding photographers, they put together the scores. So you have to join all the monthly photo contests and you have to score well sa imong entries or maybe sometimes even win. So inana na siya, it makes you disciplined because you have to create new photos every month. And then at the same time, it challenges you to upskill. Okay, asahay, the themes are very difficult baya. So you have to think of a way to make your images different from those of the other members and get the prize, no? So for Zone 5 Camera Club, I had been a member for 3 years. And although I was always in the top 10, galisod jud ko hag top 10 kanang top 1. So in 2023, finally na top 1 ko because I think naswertihan ra jud ko kay the themes that year were themes that were really familiar to me and I had a good amount of stock photos.
Okay.
So I won the top award for the year after 3 years of slugging it out in the club. And then the following year, I joined the Pinoy Photography Organization, a new club, which I like because they have this list of activities nga fun bitaw. Magsigig shoot.
May workshops na po na yan.
Oh, every meeting has a workshop. Nya mulaag, shoot. So they're not so structured, but they have a lot of fun activities. So I joined them and I wasn't even really trying too hard kay pro B man ko ang ko status. But
Okay.
every month I was winning. And then I ended up getting the top slot. So back-to-back 2 years nag-photographer of the year. So murag mo na to kanang summit siguro sa ako ang pagkakontisera. Duha ka years kong photographer of the year.
Sa mga ingana, do you earn from the
Do we
photos?
earn?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not regularly, but when you become photographer of the year or outstanding photographer, you get invited to join selling exhibits.
Okay.
So mga photos na ako, sometimes I sell them and they get sold, but I don't really do that as a regular source of income. I join the annual exhibits of Art in the Park, for example, the one that's organized by the Museum Foundation of the Philippines. So it's a way of donating to the NGO, to the foundation. And so when you sell your photos, they get a portion of the proceeds. So there I sell my images, sometimes in the exhibits, sometimes when you post your winning photos, some people uh, see it and then they contact you to buy. And usually it sells well. Mayo magpresyo when your images are of a certain quality, bitaw mo fine art ang imong presentation. So you really have to also have it printed in a high quality printer and then have it framed really well para makabaligya kag taas.
Ang mga buyers, asa kasagaran ng buyers, ano?
The buyers are art collectors.
Okay.
Kasi sa Manila, I'm not sure if it's in Cebu na rising recognition of photography also as an art form, as a fine art form. Pero sa Manila, photography is already considered as a fine art form. So the ones collecting photos nga naka-frame, looking like paintings, are also the art collectors.
Pila kasagaran ng prices, ano? Actually, wala ko idea.
Idea.
Wala ko
You could
idea.
probably sell your photos sa imong award-winning kanang, although the non-violent type of photos. So let's say, for example, ang imong photo is like 10 by 15 ang size.
Oo.
Ang usual na ko nga minimum price for my skill. Di
So,
naman daog.
depende gyapon sa photographer, syempre.
Oh,
The name.
Well, maybe not the name, but it's your the way you recognize your own skill and your how hard it was to take the photo.
Okay.
So, for example, if you later on, if you'll flash some of my photos, I'll tell you if I sold it or not. Na.
Okay.
So, between 5,000 to 10,000, that's the value of the photo itself. And then if you have it printed and framed, then you have to recover the cost.
Okay.
Tapos kung ang size is gamay, then the price is also smaller.
Ang copyright, ana, dili nakakabaligya.
No, you can. You can sell man in several editions. Like, one photo, you can sell 10 of it. So, you sell 1 of 10.
So, limited.
Limited editions. Or if it's a really high-selling, kanang makatawag yung pansin, you do like 100.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ito, siguro nakakita ko alang dire. Kaila kang VJ Villafranca?
Kaila ko VJ.
Nagdala siya dire sa usa ka gallery na
Photomoto siguro.
No, not photomoto to. Pero gusto ko mo itong photomoto. Hindot sa to.
I think they're doing a traveling exhibit, but
Negros.
yeah.
Bacolod.
And they have exhibits every year. You should try to submit your works for curation nila. So yeah, I know VJ kay nag-mentor man niya siya sa
Okay. We're back. Asa na to ato? Kato nga.
you were asking about
katong-
selling of photos.
Sa photomoto. Kato na may tagmoari sa to photomoto. Pero
Yeah,
by the way,
you should call out VJ and
Yeah.
invite them to come to Cebu.
nyamot, then kato, kita ko sa mga prices which nakakita di ko atong fine art na photo nga masyag 6 digits, 100,000 ana.
Good. If it's a really big photo.
Dako kay mahal.
Yeah, plus nakadaog na somewhere.
Okay.
Significant man yung factor nga did it win an international award somewhere, and then when you sell it, that carries a premium. So yeah.
Dako kay prices. No?
Yeah. Naanagan iko'y ibang kaila nga friends nga when they put out a collection, paliton ang collection niya, ibutang kintahe sa resort. So, tanang kwarto sa resort, litrato niya. So, in that sense, highly marketable na kayong iyang photography.
Depende po no, butang sa mga hotels.
Oh, yeah. So, that's the advantage of travel photographers because we do landscapes, human interests, and the kind of street photography that we do also is not I'd say not the...
Artsy-fartsy. The art, the
No, it's not
shadows.
artsy-fartsy. It's more a graphic. Yeah.
Okay.
Chiaroscuro,
Ah.
highlights and shadows. More ginana nga type now.
Layering.
It comes across as really painterly.
Okay.
It's not so much about telling the stories, but it's giving you an image nga appealing bitaw kaayo. It invites you to investigate what is this photo all about. So kanang mga inaana, mga sellable mo kayo na kanang mga moody nga street photos, mga one person walking in a dimly lit street, mga inaana. Sellable mo na. So maybe you should do it when you're on assignment. Try to do also
Tourism, like
tourism. Tourism. Some of my images before had been used for a tourism book. They don't pay us much because they always request nga, we use it, we give you credit.
Kana murag syempre hinaguan ba.
Well, I've done it before, mga festival photos na ako giborrow, and I obliged kay part man sad ko sa project nga nag-make sa book. So even in the project where I'm employed now, we publish public policy books niya, ang cover mga Philippine sceneries. So they come from my collection and I don't charge anything kaya I consider it man a source of pride sad nga my images have added social value. So they're not just pretty pictures of the mountain province, but then they become an image of modern agriculture or sustainable agriculture. Maragin na ba?
How do you say na nindot ang usa ka travel photograph?
Nindut.
Oo.
I guess I should throw you that question. What is a nindot nga photojourn nga litrato?
Travel sa.
Similar to a photojourn or a news image. For me lang ha.
Okay.
I try to design my travel images around the idea na naagid siya story nga i-tell. So I always when I'm in a seminar, mugawas ang akong pagkabisaya, moingon jud ko kung why kwento, why kwenta. Di ba? So kung walang kwento,
why kwenta?
Kung walang kwento, walang kwenta. So I guess that's the bottom line. Even if it's just a simple scenery like a landscape, a sense of place image, it evokes a story pa rin naman because of the way you might be using the light, or maybe you capture the relationship between the clouds and the foreground. So it still evokes a story. So and then that's how I try to shape my images. So when I especially have human elements in my images, so then that's where you'll see what I'm talking about nga. I try to put a story to every image, and when I create a collection, several images, mas mo resonate ang story bitaw kay madungagan man kay added elements naman ang mahitabo. So whether it's 1 picture, 3 pictures, or 5 pictures, ma-magnify ang story because kada image na ay gamay nga story. And so that's how I build it out.
Ato ta sa kuan mga equipments, gears. By the way, Ate Arlene is the brand ambassador for Lumix.
And also for Radiant Photo.
Okay.
The editing
app,
software.
Okay. Sa travel photography, unsa imong mga equipment na dapat dalhon?
Okay.
Siyempre dapat siguro travel dapat gaan or unsa man dapat dalhon jud.
Well,
ang importante.
Importante nga mobile. O kanang portable bitaw. Kanang dali nga bitbiton. At saka kuan siya kanang very easy to handle. So that's what attracted me to Lumix to begin with. Kay gi-offeran ko nila to work with them, and they said our cameras are mirrorless. plus full frame. So you have more pixels in every image. So sabi ko, oh, I like the idea. Bugat, dili, gaan. So, and the lenses are of a particular make na they really create incredible crisp colors. Yeah, color-oriented ba kayo ko sa akong mga images. So yeah, I use a full frame na mirrorless, the S5 of Lumix. And then I always carry with me 3 types of lenses.
Okay.
I have an ultra-wide and then the medium telephoto, like a 24-105 or a 28-200. And yun, 28-200. That's kind of like
All
my
around?
telephoto, the all around. So it's either the 28-200 or the I think 24-105. Pero for landscapes, I use an ultra-wide. And then I have a bunch of filters, polarizer,
Okay.
graduated, neutral.
Mangutan ako, ana. Pero namatay question dire. With so many people photographing the same landmarks, how do you create something truly original, or do you think originality is overrated?
Kalisod sa question.
Miss Universe.
Miss Universe kayo. Well, you see a lot of photos created by mga hawod nga photographers and you use them as peg, as a reference for what you expect to see. Or if you wanted to copy them, then yeah, by all means copy it. Wala namang nagsasabi na pag-aari na yung wala namang intellectual property right dun sa sa the way an image is designed. So in my case, I try to be not too perfect sa ako ang mga litrato. I add an element here and there that makes it identifiable as an Arlene Donaire version. So that's why in my landscape photos, I always throw in a surprise element. Like, I don't just shoot mountains. I wait for things like fog rolling in or kalit lang na daghang birds. Magwat kog mga ingan-ana nga moments kasi it makes the image less similar to the
Nagyapon siya the right moment at the right
yeah,
time.
it's so yeah. Dili man na cliche ka ng perfect moment, no? Kasi gani creator the decisive moment.
Henry.
Si Andre Cartier-Bresson. So the decisive moment also applies to travel photography kay you wait for the right gestures of human beings nga nasa imong subject. Nga nagsamok-samok sa imong landscape. Some would call it unnecessary element kanang mga nakay little people, but me I like it because it makes my image different. So di ko ka-judge kung originality is overrated kasi it's a subjective thing some people like to be original, others like to follow what others are doing. So the only way you can make an image truly yours is if you interpret it based on the vision you have in your head. I try not to copy. I really try to add a different element. So that's how I know it's mine.
The Arlene Donaire photo.
The imperfect travel photo. Yeah.
So, another question. If you could never take another photo again, what would you want to be remembered for as a travel photographer?
Wow, that's hard. I hope it doesn't happen. Tuk, tuk, tuk. Anyway, so I've been a travel photographer for the last 10 years. And I've created so many stories already. I've published a lot of stories, which I think I shared with you.
Yeah.
So there was a time in my photography horizon between 2014 to 2019 that I published over 40 stories. They were published in Japan, in English. And it's an English magazine in Japan. So I think I would be remembered by that because these stories, these published stories are like the memorials of where I've been and what I've seen and the stories that I've told. So that's one. Another way by which I'd like to be remembered is that I shared my stories. I shared my learnings. Okay, my one of my goals in being a travel photographer is to be able to share my kaalaman and be able to, in a way, inspire others through my images. I mean, the visual language that I have created, sana ma-appreciate ng iba and may matutunan din sila. And I've been doing that in the last few years nga mura ga teacher ko ba. I teach in seminars.
Mostly
Seminars that
what
are sponsored
students?
by the brands and
Okay.
the camera shops.
So mostly photographers na sila.
Oo, photography din ang
Okay.
photographers ang audience or the ones that intend to go into photography as a hobby or as a profession. So, dili man ko professional educator, but I get invited to be a resource person lang. Yeah, so there.
Balik ta tong una sa first kana
Yes.
so mao na imong pasabot na sa asa ni siya?
That was shot
Terraces? Banawe?
Dili oy.
Wala ko abaw.
No, look at look at the details. The native woman is dressed up in something different.
Asa na
So
siya?
that's in Vietnam.
Oh.
It's from the northern region of Vietnam.
Okay.
The woman is called the tribe is called Hmong.
Oh, okay.
Hmong. So that's actually it's not a setup, but we invited her to be our model to walk
Okay.
around the rice terraces. And I like this image particularly because it's murag nagmodel sila and yet it's so real kay tanawa ang mother nagpakainom og juice sa ihang anak. So it's like a normal occurrence lang, gipictura na mo siya. So murag it's one principle manggod nga when you do a conceptual photo shoot nga na model, you look for gestures that make them appear so normal. Nga murag wala sila gi-set up ba. So the others would probably post them without the box of juice.
Mm-mm.
And would probably clean up their faces. Pasulubon og lain nga sa nina. But I mean, sa group namin, we decided, you can just go walking. And then, abang-abang lang mi ba, naghuwat-huwat lang mi kano sana i-gesture nga nindot and then we shoot. So this is what I'm saying. Some photographers would prefer to only have the rice terraces. Shoot maybe long exposure nga ang clouds, ga-move in ana. But me, I like to add in an element that makes it more relatable. So eventually, this photo, I sold one. I sold this photo na and it also got exhibited twice in mother and child. Kana bitang Mother's Day nga
Mother's
theme.
Day.
So it's one of my favorite images from Vietnam. And then there's a backstory pa ana how we got here. My first time to ride kanang habal-habal bitaw.
Oh, dito.
Oh, you hold the driver's koan anak ka kay we had to go up to the mountain, narrow ang agianan. When you get there, it's very slippery kay ulan-ulan. But when you reach the location, you see this type of scenery and you tell yourself, oh, it's all worth it.
Lisod sa Julia tuon. Nag-wait kuan sa siya ang time ana kay cloudy.
This
or
was sunset. This was after sunrise. This was after sunrise. So
Okay.
it's high elevation man ang a place. So there's always the low clouds. Nya na siya kanang murag element of mist wherever you
So
go.
preferred time jud nimo for photography is sunrise or
Around the
sundown?
time, the golden hours, before, basta anywhere before it's high noon.
Okay.
Okay, that's the best time when the light diffuses well. Bisag, I don't use flash, by the way. I don't even use yung mga reflector ana-ana kay murag dili man siya consistent with travel photography, no? So you use ambient light, whatever is there, whatever the setup there, you make good use of it. So inana ra. So sad me ang mga travel photographers were like zombies. we're awake at dawn or sometimes
Maghuwat.
you shoot before the sun rises and then sa gabi when you're doing astral photography also. which I also do.
Oh, kanang
Nasa
mga
ko.
Milky Way.
Yeah, nasa ko yung astro nga gamay.
Question si Sir Grail Pepito. Good evening. You mentioned na you do street sad sa travel. How do you handle language barriers when connecting with your subjects?
Street photography sa ibang lugar, it's much easier when you go around carrying a smile on your face. There are many ways man to communicate without saying a word. Like you wave, and then you gesture na picturean ta ka, or you smile, or you really go approach and say hi. And then you linger. Murag inana ba? There's no language barrier ba ya when you go in there and just say hi. I think most people understand the language of a smile. So I've never had a problem with language wherever I went, even in places where you think na istrikto kayo ang mga tao, like in Hong Kong or in Singapore or in Japan. I think a smile is the most universal of all languages. So, but maybe also it's because babae less less makadlok or
Dali tag dun?
dali tag doon. But I'm not using it as an excuse. Nga babae ko dali ra ko makikistorya. I've learned the art of being polite. Politeness is very key when you're doing street photography.
Dili judayon mo enter na lang mo
Yeah,
picture
you
dayon.
don't go there and then ratatat. You stand there and diba? You do it din naman, diba? I saw you in Carbon, you would stand around and then duol, say hi. I mean, that's also the way we approach it in travel photography.
Okay. Tanaw tag mga photos. Kani.
Asan eh?
Kay murag na monkey? Monkey na?
No.
Asan eh?
That was shot in Indonesia in 2023.
Okay.
2023.
Balik ka to lang. Na.
No, this was last year, BI. Our group in Zone 5 Camera Club, we went to Indonesia in Surabaya, and this is a setup.
Okay.
That's a model. The guy has long hair.
Oh, balik daw. Abi na kong monkey, sorry.
No, it's an elderly guy with
Balik lang, please.
that's an elderly guy with long hair, white hair, and we even called him Gandalf.
Oh, balik tong nay
Yeah.
horse. Na.
Yeah, it's inside forest park. We went there.
Karon murag monkey siya. Sorry.
He's like puffing
nag-smoke
smoke
gani.
to his horse, nakikipag-usap sa horse niya. We shot this inside a forest.
Okay.
Yeah, early morning. That's why, and then, syempre, it's a setup eh. So our tour leader asked some of his team to burn some leaves para may usok. So
okay.
in lieu of any lighting setup, we used the natural sunlight, created the smoke as a background.
Kita kaayo ang
to-
sun rays.
Yeah. So yeah, no, this photo has not won anything, but it's very memorable to me because the scene is like straight out of the Lord of the Rings. So,
Indot kayo.
yeah, and then of course, technique man ng travel photographers or any photographer for that matter, if you have a body of water, you try to create mirror images of a mirror
Reflection.
image of the subject that's being shot.
Sige,
So, yeah.
next. Next. Sige, kani.
This shot in Myanmar
Uy,
before the earthquake. This was in Mandalay.
karon lang na year?
No. This was shot in 2019.
Okay.
So a group of friends from Zone 5 Camera Club also, we went to Mandalay, Inle, and Bagan. This one is below Ubain Bridge. If when you get the chance to go there in the future, Ubain Bridge is the longest teakwood bridge in the world, and there's a very wide lake where they do their fishing. So this is early morning. I exhibited this in Art in the Park last month and I sold this.
Oh.
Yeah.
How much?
Maulang ito. It sold for 15,000 pesos.
15?
Oo.
Ang sa kadako siya.
Gamay ra. 10 by 15 and then
Okay.
framed. Nicely framed. So, niabot na siya. Ang size niya mga 19 by 21. So, sold it really low actually. Kay daghan ba yung exhibiting artists sa Art in the Park. So, you don't overprice. But I'd say 15,000 is a good price for a first edition.
Natay question diri gikan ni Sir Rolando Moralio. Sir Dodong?
Nganong na-interest siya sa travel photography.
Yeah.
Kay kuan man gud Sir Roland, laagan man gud ko. Laagan man ko. Sa work na ko, my work involves traveling around the Philippines also for the projects. Kay project manager man ko.
Okay.
And besides that, I also really like traveling to see the world. Well, first to see Asia and then maybe move on to Europe, to Latin America, as long as I can afford it. So since I'm already traveling, why not add value by photographing the world as well? So it's for my sanity, sir. That's why I do it, and I want to be remembered by my photos. That's my language of love na for
Indot kayo.
kani siya. Oo.
Indot kayo asin.
So muna, sir, ang sagot ra gyud kay laagan kayo ko. So this one shot in Inle Lake in Myanmar.
Myanmar gyapon.
So they're called the dancing fishermen. Mao ni silang mga fishermen nga they put the sagwan in one leg. Nya they sagwan like that. Nya ang usa ka kamot naggunit sa basket to put the to look for the fish para magdakop sa fish. So kuanto siya, morning scene to siya, gasmoke sila niya, shot from the top of a footbridge.
Footbridge.
Oh, dili to drone.
Dili ka mag-drone.
Mag-drone asahay basta naay kuan.
Kung need lang jud.
Kung naay mo tabang nako. Kay kuan man ko, talawan man ko sa
Drone.
drone.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pwede balik atong night dog. Na.
Kanang
Kani?
naay dog. Yeah. Shot in Baler.
Baler.
Have you been?
Wala pa.
Sabang Beach in Baler. Beautiful light in the morning. Sa colored version ani gwapo kay ni siya kanang yellow, golden highlights. Yeah, we recently had a contest on chiaroscuro. And I picked this photo because I like the way the highlights shaped.
Panagsara ka
man.
mo kuhag black and white na.
I don't really shoot in black and white. But
You do? I don't.
I don't. I
You
really don't.
Okay.
I always shoot in color.
Okay.
But when looking for images to convert to black and white, then I follow certain rules like dapat taas siya dynamic range. You have very bright portions and then dark portions, and then in between you have the gradation of grays. So that's one thing. And then there are also subjects nga they render well to black and white. Kana bitong gritty. Ang singan ani kanang very real ang scene nga nakikita mo. So I thought that this one, the story of a man and his body. Gasmoke na ako'y kanang file ani nga gasmoke pud siya. Gagunit sa cup niya, gaana siya. So too much man ang action kung inana. So I chose this for the contest. Wa man siya kadaog, but it passed naman with good grades. But I just really like the mood of the guy here. Nga kuan siya, it tells
emotion ng
na siya story. And that's one thing when you're shooting
Laom kay ginahuna.
when you're shooting portraits on the street, you just don't look for people nga nagtindog, naglingkod. So you still make a bang. You wait for the right emotion on the face before you pitik, 'di ba? Tsaka yung symmetry ng eksena, you have this leading line towards the man looking towards the sea, and the dog also looking somewhere. Diba? And then, you just have the right amount of light nga dili sila in your face. There's a sense of mystery because there's dark darkness and there's shadows in some parts of the image. So, ganahan sa kog ingon ana kanang emo bitaw nga litrato. So not all of travel photography manggod is about beautiful, colorful images. It can also be about the drama, the everyday scenes that you see on the streets.
Okay. Sige. Next lang. Kani, nagamit kag filter ani.
Yes.
Oh.
Tag-ana ko nog asa na.
Grabe nga guess.
Somewhere, sige, wild guess.
Manila Bay. Dili.
You wish that Manila Bay could be this majestic. But yeah,
Nindot ang sunset.
the
sa
sunset
Manila
is
Bay.
great, but the boulders ngayon ani nga murag kanang nahamis na because of the flow of tides in and out.
Sa Philippines ani.
Pilipinas pa nooy, but in Batanes.
Batangas. Kalatagan?
Batanes.
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 Okay.
It's a place called Valugan, Boulder Beach.
Layo.
And rightly so
Tumoy
because
naman yun sa Pilipinas.
rightly so because the beach is all boulders. So, yeah, gigamitan na siya neutral density filter to slow down the entry of light and then to make the water flow like that. Yeah. And then another filter used would be yung where when the upper half is dark and then the lower half is brighter, so that's graduated neutral density filter. Para ang ma-filter lang nimo is yung too much brightness sa taas. Yeah.
Ang ako rin nagamit na filter is CPL lang jud.
Gwapo man ng CPL.
Kanang kuan lang, kanang matuyok-tuyok bitaw siya.
Yeah, yung you manage the blueness of the sky, the reflection. It's great for kuan for street photography. Kasi it intensifies blue colors niya. It intensifies the contrast. I mean, for me, I like using it in street photography.
Okay, posta kadali sa atong Pitik 101. Wala. Okay. Ate Arlene, nata sa karon sa Pitik 101, pwede ka mo tudlo og any techniques or pareha ato sa neutral density. Unsay mo? Okay. Oy.
Nag-freeze.
Hello.
We're back.
Sorry kaayo sa technical issues. By the way, nata karon sa Pitik 101 na segment. Mga itag tips ni Ate Arlene bahin sa pag-use og filters sa labi na sa siguro mga moving mga water o basta mga itag tips ni Ate Arlene.
Mga yung tips, kuan na lang, my usual
Okay.
way of using filters. So, as I was earlier telling si Juan Carlo, I like using a polarizer.
Okay.
I even use it in street photography because I like the way it intensifies the contrast in my colors. Oh. Plus, you always have the option to diminish or intensify your reflections kung na water. Like when
Okay.
we were shooting the dragon boat race
Okay.
in Manila Bay, nakadaog ba akong second adto nga contest. So I was using a CPL on my telephoto also. at the same
Dragon
time.
boat dito sa Manila Bay.
Oh, Dragon Boat Race nga sponsored by one of the camera stores. So nakadaog ko adto. Nagamit kog CPL. Kay naa may dagat. So it intensifies the color of the dagat, color of the sky, and then the
Naka-affect
reflection.
ba siya sa iyang exposure?
Yeah, it diminishes mo slower.
Slower.
Kay kuan man siya. Mo
Ngit-ngit.
darken man.
Okay.
So you have to compensate with your shutter speed or imuhang i-adjust ang imuhang aperture. Okay, nana good imong exposure triangle. Di ba ako techie kayo ana, but naanad na lang over time nga when you begin to use manual shooting. Kamao na kamo timpla and you know exactly how to adjust it. So that's one CPL and for an image like this kanang mga tubig-tubig
Kana.
nako naanay kuan ning gamit ko nag ND or GND, graduated neutral density filter. So it's something that I learned from studying landscape photography with the masters of landscape photography also. This is a stitched image of Mount Bromo.
Oh, bitaw unsa na ang stitch?
Can we go back to that image? Kaha? Stitched means several images. So like this one, this is 3 vertical shots. Nya i-merge nimo siya sa post-processing.
Di ba lisod kay na kay basin hiwi de ang usa ka frame? Ano, di ba?
Well, when you're shooting, there's always that horizon line man sa imong camera.
Okay.
So you always try to make sure nga it's green.
Ah,
And when you're shooting with the intention of stitching, mag-overlap ka.
okay.
You frame it in a way nga the next frame is 1/3 overlap dun sa previous. So mag-include kag 1/3 of the previous layout para inigsumpay nila mo seamless ba. So kani siya tulo ni ka shots but very quick shots kay para dili mag-change ang color sa sunrise. Very quick man ang transition ani nga lugar. This is in Mount Bromo. Bromo Tengger National Park.
Volcano?
The entire place nga filled up with the sea of clouds is a caldera. And then from there, naglabasan yung smaller volcanoes. So it's like Taal Lake, except that Taal Lake is filled with water. This one is just desert during daytime, but during morning, sea of clouds siya.
Okay.
Nya mo dissipate na ng clouds, ay mo taas ang clouds, makita na nimo ang desert under niya. There's a village or there's like a municipality
Ay,
on the left
nga
side.
balay.
Yeah, nag-shoot me sa taas ng mountain.
More siya kuan Taal Tagaytay din.
Murag yun. But this is like, there are three smaller volcanoes in the middle. Yeah, during the day, lahi jud kay ni siya itsura. It's like a desert during daytime.
By the way, nagkuan nimo si Michael Ocaña.
Hello, Mike. O si Cesar.
Cesar.
Hello,
Asan
Cesar. Friends in Cebu. Hello, Kangkang. And Jan Tadoyo.
Shout out ni Batang Cebuano. Oy, kalayo de ani ni Sir Rolando nag-watch from Zamboanga del Norte.
Kinsa Rolando apelido? Rolando Pascua?
Rolando Moralio.
Hello,
Okay.
sir. It's nice you could take the time to watch us today. Kanisha JC.
Okay.
This is the scene under that sea of clouds. katong kaganina nga ningon ko stitched image siya na Sea of Clouds. When you go under it, this is actually what you see na ay temple, na ay mga horsemen. Kani siya nag-hire mi og kuan a group of horsemen to pose for us during sunrise. So the white thing you see there is the Sea of Clouds. Nga ganina sa top view, you saw it from the top. It's like the crater is filled with clouds, but underneath...
Dito gihapon eh.
Oh, it's from the same... the place is called Bromo Tengger National Park in East Java, Indonesia.
Java.
Yeah.
Sa ubos din nato, no? Sa Philippines. Ubos sa Philippines.
Yeah, nasa silong ang Indonesia sa
okay.
ato. Yeah.
Nakaadto na ka ng Borneo. Ubos sa... Mao ba na? Ang... Ubos sa... Di ba? From Tawi-Tawi, ubos na. Katong...
Oh, I don't
Indonesia
think so. Yeah, that's another scene from under
Dito.
the sea of clouds. The only places I've been to under the Philippines are Indonesia. Indonesia no ang nasilong nato. But I've been to several places in Indonesia.
Kani?
Baguio.
Baguio.
That's inside the Baguio market. Stobosa. You've been there, right? Yeah. Mirador Hill in Baguio.
Okay.
There, si Gandalf.
Abi jud gihapon ako hunted karon.
This one is in Inle Lake in the morning.
Di ba? Mura gihapon ta nag-travel karon.
So it's if you see the transition in my images, like this one, I call this the detail shot.
Asa to?
I close up shot.
Kani.
So the first one where you just see the sunrise and the boat nga naay nagsayaw, it's called the big shot.
Kani.
And this one is a detail shot kasi it's really an image of the fishing net. And then gigamit lang siya as a frame for the fishermen. So that's how I usually sequence my photo stories. Na ako'y big shot to show the sense of place, and then na ako'y close-up shot to identify who the characters are, and then I have a detail shot to add an additional sense of identification dun sa mga subjects nako. So, yeah, fortunately you included 3 images there nga part of a photo essay.
The same gihapon no sa photo journal.
Yeah, inana mo sa photo journal. Pero sa travel
Detail.
photography, na ako'y additional like this. I call this a wish shot.
Wish kay balik.
Yeah, it's a wish shot because you always see this in the images of the floating gardens of Inle Lake, but it's differently interpreted because I waited for a certain moment when they were all throwing na their baskets on the dagat. It's a lake actually, and then you have the color of sunset at the back. And it's the kind of shot that I would take if I only had one shot to take. And I call it the one shot promise or last shot promise, ito na lang. So yan yung litrato na kung isa lang ang pwede kong maiuwi na litrato. This is the kind of photo that I would take kasi it tells you the entire story already, the sense of place.
Ang gibuhat sad nila.
Then you have the characters, and then you have the distinctive element of the place, the floating gardens, and then the gestures. And then you have all the elements of composition there, like the leading lines, the rule of thirds, the rule of odds, complementary colors. So you throw everything in, and that's it. Like, it's your wish shot.
Sige, kuwata glass pa ng mga photos. Kani mao jud gihapon.
It's all the same. I like the subjects. Nakoy ko an penchant for shooting fishermen, the coastal.
Asa ni?
It's because taga-isla mo ko.
Asa to?
That image, waka kaila.
Volcano?
Waka kaila.
Mayon to?
Oh.
Kani BGC.
That's BGC. Can we go back to that Mayon image? Maybe waka kaila.
Karon ko kakita ani nga kuan angle.
Yeah, because the perspective is newly discovered. Actually, ang naka-discover, I think, Anna was our tour leader. He's a really good landscape photographer niya. Ga-explore sila og new vantage points in Albay. If you see, that's the boulevard eh. Actually, niya sa tumoy anang boulevard na series of mountains na niya gikat-kat na namo. Niya we call it nga dakuan the Snake Mountain. Kay afterwards nang nga naog na mi humanamig shot giingnan mis mga caretaker dito. Nagpunta kayo diyan, maraming ahas diyan. We didn't know.
Pero tinuod na.
Well, they said it has plenty of snakes kay Kogon man.
Oh.
Kogon area man siya, but you know, when you're a photographer and you see the potential, you go there. So this was before Mayon had an eruption. I think 2020. Kaya di ba nag-eruption naman to siya afterwards niya. Nasa ko images nga nimbalik yun mig Mayon. Ningadto dyan migbalik sa Albay when it started to erupt. Nag-shoot na mig mga eruption images. But this is sunset.
Okay. Murag nilapas ta.
Nilapas ta? Nice.
Di bitaw kanang murag kuwang jud ta tong oras kay nalingaw na tag-travel sa bisag asa na nasod.
Yeah, that's only a small part of what I've already accumulated for the last 10 years.
So next time na kay sulti. By the way, thank you ma'am sa imong time.
Oh, you're welcome.
Karon
But
na
thank you also.
ug ma'am balik kag Manila. At least nakahatag kag
I
time.
go back
Salamat
to
jud
work.
kayo ma'am.
I go back to work. Mo thank you lang ko gamay. Of course I want to thank my camera clubs, the Pinoy Photography Organization and Zone 5 Camera Club kasi it's a rare privilege to become part of a community ba nga ga-share sa imong passion and then you uplift each other in your photography. So I'm very lucky to be part of 2 camera clubs nga inspiring ang environment. And then my family supports me.
Oh.
Napaana tuloy ko. My family supports me, my siblings and my parents. They like the idea that I'm doing this and they're my fans. And then friends in Cebu, I really appreciate you, JC,
Oh,
and
thank you.
Kangkang, and Carlito So, and Jan Tadoyo of Images Camera Club for joining us yesterday. Nga nag-shoot mi sa Carbon og sa
Ermita.
Sa Ermita og sa Maritima.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Very fun experience for us. Lingaw jud kayo. First time to see that side of Cebu.
Okay, salamat kayo sa tanan ng tanaw karon ug sunod na pod Lunes 6 alas 6 hangtod alas 7 sa gabi. Bye.
Bye.